Hello guys, our team continues to prepare for the interview with Mark Zuckerberg. Every week we have classes at Streamline Language School to improve our language, to speak with Mark fluently. And in today's episode we decided to find out how well Belarusian businessmen speak English, how they improve their language and how they encourage their employees to improve their own English if they do. And of course we find out what would they ask Mark Zuckerberg if they met him. These interviews were recorded without special preparation. It was pure improvisation. So let's watch it.
Every day, maybe half of the time I speak English, half of the time I speak other languages. And to improve the language, first of all, I read amazing, proper English journals like The Economist and Financial Times. I enjoy reading interesting books in English, and the level of English which is required to understand the professional English financial and economical journalism is great. And I can say that I don't always understand every single word there. So this actually is a process which helps me to extend my vocabulary.
Every day, yeah. Because our official language in our company is English language. We have an invest committee and we speak in English in our committee.
We have rather good relations with international financial organization which give us a credit line, and we should take part in some negotiations, some discussion.
Imagine maybe 12 years ago I can't to speak English at all, yeah, and then I recognized I need to speak English because it's our relationship with our suppliers and our customers. Some of our customers depends on our communication.
So I clearly remember that moment. It was when I was 7 years old. I was playing this game, Civilization, and the game was in English, and it had luckily there was no translation available, and there were a lot of different names of buildings, a lot of different dialogues, a lot of different things which were going on inside, which you cannot understand if you don't know English. And I had great motivation to understand what is there. And playing this game, I started to understand pretty much everything, which requires significant level of English. So I think it was a moment. So Sid Meier, thank you so much for this great game.
Initially I learned French in the school, and when I was in university, I decided to not to lose my time, to waste my time, and I found the best school. It was maybe 25 years ago. It was Officers Club in Minsk, military officers club, and I spent 2 years there, and my basic knowledge I found there. And later on I communicated with friends, partners, pilots, officials. So I use my English as often as I need, here in Minsk, abroad. It depends.
When you go on a business trip, by train or by plane, okay, you can use your tablet and watch TV by English language, and etc. etc. Every time, small exercise, and step by drop, yeah, yeah. Switch on your brain every time, because when you speak in your native language, you don't understand every word. It's like a mirror which reflects from your brain. Yeah, you understand the meaning all sentences, not every word. And in that way, I teach my brain to reflect the English sentences, not every word.
You just need to spend a lot of time. You just need to spend a lot of time talking to the people and to understand what they say. So I had this problem with when I'm coming to yoga classes in London. There's a great Scottish teacher who speaks amazing English with a great accent. So I mean, just when I first time came to him, I just didn't understand the word. So, but now I'm getting better and better every time. So I do believe that learning English is just all about spending appropriate amount of hours on doing this, and there is no kind of easy way around. So this is a skill which needs significant amount of time to develop.
My biggest problem, I haven't time to learn English, and in that way I decided to spend my vacation every year and to learn English, and every year I go to the UK for a special English school and spend 1 month to study English.
I would say that for someone living and working in Belarus, it's extremely important because Belarus in itself is a very small market, and for anyone in Belarus to accomplish anything on a big scale, you have to go internationally, and the only way to do it is by conducting business in English.
Yes, of course, we have some position in which English is a mandatory requirement. For example, it's correspondent accounts, correspondent relations. It's a specialist who every day should speak with foreign partners.
Yes, it is, but the first of all you need to be clever, man or woman. You need to be energetic, and yes, of course. The next thing what you need, it's English skills, but you can achieve these skills study English.
Of course, I mean, you don't have people who don't speak English, and unless it's cleaner. And basically, I do believe that English is like knowing computer skills. You don't have people who don't know how to use computers. The same, you don't want to have people who don't know English effectively. So, of course, English is important. I like this meme who called a guy called Dun, the guy who sits on the chair and waits for something, right? I mean, it's like it's so funny to see that this guy has become so popular. I think it doesn't make any sense to wait for the future in anything, just to think that education, technology improvement will help you to overcome any learning problems. I mean, if you want to learn something, you do it now, and when you have motivation, because motivation and learning is the most important part of it. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't see how this can happen in the nearest future. So obviously this will happen, but we don't know when, we don't know what will happen, and I don't think that even if this will happen, you will not have the context and the meaning, and it's very important from the context point of view. So to understand the context, you clearly need to understand English on a different level, and you need to know it yourself, and only then you are able to communicate.